The change in my mother was subtle at first, just little things that didn't sit right. It was like a cloud had settled over her, darkening everything she touched. She was neglectful, short-tempered, and cruel in a way I didn't recognize. She snapped at me for no reason, her anger coming out in bursts, like something inside her was barely holding back. I remember the animals going missing, our dog, our cat, even the birds we kept in the backyard. They just vanished, like they were never there at all. At first, I thought they ran away. But then there were other signs. My mum had been acting strange for weeks, and then she lost her job. I was there when it happened. She had a screaming match with one of her co-workers, and the next thing I knew, she was home, packing up her desk. She wasn't apologetic. She didn't care. It was as if the whole thing was someone else's fault, like the world had betrayed her. She started sleepwalking after that. I'd hear her wandering through the house at night, muttering to herself, her voice thick and strange, like something was controlling her tongue. Once, I caught her standing at the foot of my bed, staring blankly at me. I called out to her, but she didn't respond. Then she whispered something under her breath, a name that felt so familiar, yet so foreign. I couldn't place it. The next morning, I woke with a headache, my mind foggy. And then it hit me, the name. It was the same name I had been hearing in my nightmares. In the dreams, there was always a shadowy figure with glowing eyes. It always stood at the edge of the room, watching. Sometimes, it would whisper that name and sometimes, it would laugh. I couldn't remember much else about the nightmares. Every time I tried to hold on to the memory, it would slip away like sand through my fingers. But that name, I kept hearing it. I knew it meant something important. It wasn't long before I noticed changes in myself. At first, it was just little irritations, slight impatience with people, snapping at my friends, and getting angry at things I usually wouldn't care about. But then it grew worse. I felt this dark energy stirring inside me, something gnawing at the edges of my thoughts. It was like something was clawing its way into my soul, urging me to lash out, to hurt people, to be cruel. I tried to fight it, but the more I resisted, the stronger it became. And all the while, my mother, if that was still her, kept slipping further away. One night, I found her in the kitchen, staring at the knife drawer. She wasn't even blinking. I wanted to ask her what was wrong, but the words felt stuck in my throat. Then, she whispered it again, the name. This time, she sounded almost fond of it, as if it was an old friend. The name, the shadows, the rage, it all twisted together in my mind. Desperate, I searched for answers. I dug through old books, scoured the internet, anything I could think of. That's when I found it, a legend, an old European tale about a malevolent creature, an elf, but not like the ones in stories. This elf was evil, feeding off human minds through nightmares, poisoning their thoughts, turning them bad. The elf would make them restless, angry, and then slowly, it would take over. And then it hit me. I wasn't the only one. My mum. She was infected too. She must have been the first. I should have seen it earlier. The signs were all there, the sleepwalking, the strange behavior, the name. The elf had already gotten to her, and now, it was in me. But I was too late. As I read the legend, the words blurred before my eyes. I couldn't keep my focus. The room started spinning. I couldn't think clearly anymore. The dark energy inside me had a hold, now tight, suffocating, and it wasn't letting go. I realized something then. The elf wasn't just in my dreams. It was here, in this house, in my mind, in my blood. And it was waiting for me to give in. I looked up at the shadows creeping along the walls, feeling their weight pressing down on me. I felt it now, the anger, the darkness. It was mine. I was becoming it. I heard my mother's voice, faint and distant, calling that name again. I couldn't even remember what it was anymore. But I knew this. It didn't matter. I had become what it wanted me to be.